Salutations everyone, the character in question today is Slade Wilson, aka Deathstroke the Terminator. Although he predates the Arnold Schwarzenegger version by a few years, no one really calls him that anymore due to copyright infringement and confusion's sake. So let's start with the beginning. Slade Wilson, a young 16-year-old, lies about his age to get into the United States Army for a stint in Korea, is later assigned to a Camp Washington where he's promoted to the rank of Major. When Vietnam starts warming up, he meets up with Captain Adeline Kane, who is tasked with training young soldiers in new fighting techniques in anticipation of brewing troubles taking place in Vietnam. She is amused on how skilled Slade was and how quickly he adapts to modern conventions of warfare, and she immediately falls in love with him. She offers to privately train Slade in guerrilla warfare, and in less than a year, he had mastered every form of fighting presented to him and was soon promoted to the rank of Lieutenant Colonel. 6 months later, they get married, have a baby, and Slade goes off to Vietnam while she is back home in the States. Sometime later, Wilson volunteers for a medical experiment designed to stimulate his adrenal gland in hopes of increasing a soldier's ability to resist truth serums. The experiment, however, does not go as expected and he falls into a coma. He is awakened later only to discover that he is now capable of using 90% of his brain capacity at one time, vis-a-vis the 10% that is said that we can only tap into at one time, so he could, to this factor of 9, think faster than your average person. His strength, durability, and agility are also increased to near superhuman levels. Not quite, but, very, very much enhanced. He applies for readiness in the army, but they refuse him. So he's really got nothing to do. He kind of, travels the world, becomes a legendary, wealthy hunter in the safari, only to not really be fulfilled with these endeavors. A few years this goes by, and then a group of hired mercenaries breaks into Wilson's mansion one evening and kidnaps his young son Joey. His wife could not stave them off, and upon discovering this, he knows that he can no longer keep the truth from his wife, and tells her that he is not only a world-famous safari hunter, but also one of the world's deadliest and most highly sought-after assassins. In an attempt to save his young son, Joey, he thinks he can get to him faster than he can be hurt. He is unfortunately proven wrong, and Joey's throat is slashed before Slade could prevent it, destroying his vocal cords and rendering him mute. After taking Joseph to the hospital, Slade's wife, enraged in the endangerment of her son, tries to kill Slade by shooting him, only managing to shoot him in his right eye. Afterwards, his confidence in his physical abilities is impaired, as well as, the loss of one of his eyes. And that's marked by his mask, in which the faceless half of it covers his lost eye. That's basically the orange of it. He is an assassin for hire. Like many assassins, he is really neutral when it comes to being really a hero or a villain. Although most anti-hero, neutral type of characters tend to somewhat stray towards the good side more often than not, Wade Wilson is a different story. He is definitely more of a bad guy than he is a good guy. First introduced as a bad guy in the Teen Titans. Many people like to put characters against other characters solely because of comic book storylines or whatever they feel is most natural. So Slade is originally a Teen Titan villain. He is also a Batman villain. He is a Justice League villain. He is a Green Arrow villain. He's an everybody villain. Sometimes, however, Deathstroke does find himself on the opposite side of the coin of good and evil, albeit many times by accident or as a byproduct through his own personal misgivings, or especially involvement with his children, his sons, and his daughter, and their involvement with the Teen Titans. Sometimes doing good things as a byproduct or almost by accident in the long scheme of things. When it comes to killing his son Jericho after he is being possessed and he puts him out of his misery, at the same time saving the remaining Titans. A similar thing happens with his wife after he regains the health regenerative restorative abilities, but he's not able to bring himself to mercy kill his wife, in which Starfire brings herself to fulfill this wish of hers. His powers are not superhuman, but very, very much enhanced. Think Captain America in the DC universe and a bad guy with a gun and a sword. He has a unique physiology, changed permanently, makes him an enhanced human, but not quite superhuman. 9 times faster. He's able to think than anyone else, so he's able to process many things, all the different variables when it comes to fighting, especially hand-to-hand or shooting at long range, distance, speed, wind, time. He's just faster than absolutely anyone else, even those who have superpowers. He has also enhanced reflexes, enhanced physical speed, stamina, strength, senses, of course. He has the regenerative healing factor, which retards his aging, making him younger than he actually is, although he is still fairly old, having served in the Korean and Vietnam Wars, respectively. He has also an enhanced immunity to certain poisons and illnesses. He can take a sword right through his body, and while it will hurt a crap ton, will not kill him, although he is, to most respects, mortal. His tactical analysis are top tier. Think Batman, except a guy who will do anything for money. Most of his contracts are fulfilled through the assassinations or protections of many different individuals, so based off of who's making these contracts, that aligns him with either the good or bad side. His hand-to-hand combat in boxing, jiu-jitsu, karate, ninjutsu, as well as swordsmanship, makes him one of the best. He's defeated Batman in hand-to-hand combat. He has gone toe-to-toe with some of the other best, including Wonder Woman and personal vendetta with Green Arrow, as well as being a personal villain with Nightwing and being accrued in the scheme to drop chemo on Bloodhaven, killing thousands of his people. So he's made a lot of enemies, but he is more than capable of handling himself. At one time, able to take out almost the entire Justice League of America, minus the big three, single-handedly. That's how good this guy is. He may be mortal, he might, not have superpowers, but with his speed and tactical ability and reflexes and hand-to-hand combat fighting skills, there's nothing that can put this guy down. Deathstroke the Terminator. That is him in a nutshell. Hope you all enjoyed. Next week we're going to be going over an awesome hero who was at one time a sidekick, Nightwing.
Contract pending. Contract fulfilled. Retrieving next target.